Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just imagine you're at a wedding. And not just any wedding. This is, the wedding of the century. It's high stakes, huge budget. Everyone who's anyone is there.
Okay.
You're sitting at your table. You're getting hungry. You're waiting for the reception to finally kick off.
Yeah.
But nothing is happening.
Oh, that feeling.
Yeah. The bride and groom are missing. The food isn't out. The waiters are just kind of standing around looking confused.
Right.
And the DJ starts playing a really sad breakup song because nobody gave him a playlist. The whole vibe is just shifting from excitement to, like, awkward panic.
Yeah, that's a bad scene.
And then, just when the silence gets unbearable, he stands up. Uncle Bob.
Oh, no, not Uncle Bob.
Yes, Uncle Bob. He grabs the microphone.
Yeah.
Nobody asked him to speak. In fact, the family specifically prayed he wouldn't.
Of course.
But here he is, rambling on about politics or, I don't know, his last fishing trip, holding the entire room hostage.
That is such a visceral image. It's painful because we've all been at that event, that vacuum of leadership moment where chaos just rushes right in.
Exactly. It's pure stress. But here's the twist for today. We aren't actually talking about event planning.
Right?
We aren't talking about how to manage your in-laws. We're talking about something that usually makes people want to run for the exits even faster than Uncle Bob's speech.
Uh-oh.
We're talking about data governance.
Which is funny because if you walk into a boardroom and say data governance, you usually get the exact same reaction as a bad wedding speech.
Yeah, eyes just glaze over.
Totally. People check their phones. It feels like a tax you have to pay, not something that actually helps you.
And that's the problem we are solving today. We're digging into something called the Data Governance Analogy Toolkit. And our mission is specific. How do you take this dry, complex, technical bore of a topic and turn it into something business leaders actually want? How do you sell it?
And the answer is the W.
The wedding planner.
It's a brilliant pivot because if you try to explain governance to a CEO using terms like metadata repositories or data lineage, you've lost them.
Instantly.
They just don't care. But if you talk to them about the difference between a riot and a celebration, now you have their attention.
So let's unpack this. The goal here is to equip you, the listener, who I know is probably the person banging your head against the wall trying to get funding for this stuff,
Yeah.
with a narrative tool.
A story.
Yeah. We need to sensitize the business. That's a phrase from the source. What does that actually mean to you? Sensitize.
It's an interesting choice of words, isn't it? I think it implies that most organizations are currently numb. They're desensitized to bad data.
Oh, that's good.
They just assume reports will be late. They assume the numbers won't match. They've accepted the chaos as the baseline.
So sensitizing them is making them feel the pain again.
Yes. Making them feel the pain of that chaos so they actually want to fix it.
So you have to show them the disaster before you can sell them the insurance.
Precisely. You have to remind them what the Uncle Bob scenario looks like on their own P&L statement.
Okay, let's stick with Uncle Bob for a minute. In the wedding analogy, he's the guy making the unsolicited speech. But who is Uncle Bob in a company? Because I feel like I've been Uncle Bob before.
We all have. Look, in a data context, Uncle Bob isn't usually a villain. He's not trying to destroy the company.
Right.
Uncle Bob is usually, a VP of sales or an energetic marketing director. He needs answers now. But the official data, the bride and groom is late. The data warehouse hasn't updated. The dashboard is broken. So what does he do?
He opens Excel.
He opens Excel. He exports some raw data he found on a shared drive, maybe from 3 months ago. He massages the numbers a little bit, filters out some anomalies, and boom, he has a report.
And he walks right into the executive meeting.
And presents it. And that's the unsolicited speech.
That's the speech nobody asked for.
Exactly. And suddenly, you have the CEO looking at the official dashboard, which says revenue is up 2%, and Uncle Bob is saying revenue is up 10%.
And the meeting just grinds to a halt.
The celebration stops. The strategy stops. Now the meeting is just about which number is right. You're just managing noise.
And that's the shadow IT problem.
Right. It's unverified data. It's unauthorized reporting. And just like at the wedding, it completely disrupts the flow. You can't have a coordinated event if people are just grabbing the mic whenever they feel like it.
The source also mentions the other disaster. Everyone shows up late.
Yeah.
In the wedding, that's obvious. No guests, no party.
Yeah.
But what's the translation there?
That's data latency. It's a lack of timeliness. Imagine you're trying to make a real-time decision on ad spend for Black Friday.
Okay.
If your data is coming in 2 days late, It's useless. It's like the guests showing up after the lights are on and the cleaners are mopping the floor.
The event is over. The opportunity is gone.
It's gone.
So we have the pain, late data,
Mm.
rogue data, a wedding that's a disaster zone. Now, the natural reaction from most companies is just to try harder.
Right. Hey, everyone, stop using Excel.
Yeah, or, hey, IT, work faster.
They try to police it. Or they just yell. But that doesn't work. You can't just tell Uncle Vic to sit down if you don't give him a better alternative.
Enter the hero of our story, the wedding planner.
Mm-hmm.
The source says, governance orchestrates timing, roles, and expectations. I want to go deep on these three because I think this is where the analogy really explains what a data steward actually does.
Let's start with roles. This is the big one.
Okay, so a wedding has a caterer, a DJ, an officiant, and the planner.
Correct. And here's the crucial distinction I think most businesses miss. The wedding planner does not cook the fish.
Right. If the planner's in the kitchen chopping onions, something has gone very wrong.
Exactly. But in the corporate world, when people hear data governance, they think, oh, that's the team that's going to fix our data entry.
Or they're the ones writing the SQL code.
No, that is the caterer's job. That is the DJ's job. Those are the data producers and the data engineers.
So if the governance lead isn't cooking the fish, what are they doing?
They're ensuring the fish is what was ordered and that it hits the table at 7:00 p.m. sharp. They're defining the roles.
Okay.
They tell the caterer, you are responsible for food safety. They tell the DJ, you're responsible for audio levels. In data terms, this is defining who the data owner is versus the data steward versus the data custodian.
Give me a concrete example. Who's the caterer in a typical company?
Let's say you have a CRM system, like Salesforce. The sales team enters the data. They are the caterer. They produce the food.
Right.
If they enter garbage data, if they burn the fish, it's not the governance team's fault. But the governance team, the planner, is the one who set the menu.
They set the standard?
They set the standard. They say, we do not accept phone numbers without area codes.
And if the sales team ignores that?
Then the planner steps in, not to type in the area codes themselves, but to enforce the contract. To say, hey, this doesn't meet the quality standard we agreed on. We can't serve this to the guests.
It prevents that role confusion. It stops the DJ from trying to cook dinner.
Which happens. You see IT trying to define business terms or marketing trying to build database architectures.
A lot of the time.
And that's where the chaos comes from. The planner keeps everyone in their lane.
Okay, let's move to pillar 2, timing. Governance orchestrates timing.
Think about the wedding again. A toast is a beautiful thing. A heartfelt speech from the father of the bride. Lovely. But
if he gives that speech in the middle of the vows,
it's a disaster.
context is everything.
It's synchronization. Data is the same way. You might have a perfectly accurate report on inventory levels, but if that report is generated at 5 p.m. and the logistics trucks leave at 4 p.m., that data is just noise.
It's a speech during the vows.
It is.
So the wedding planner, the governance lead, is the one with the headset on.
Yes. They're looking at the run of show. They're saying, okay, the ETL pipeline from the Asian markets needs to finish by 2 a.m. The quality checks run at 2.3. The executive dashboard refreshes at 6 a.m. They ensure the flow happens in the right order.
That's a really powerful image. It takes it away from being about rules and moves it to orchestration. It feels more active.
It is active. It's dynamic. If the band is running late, the planner adjusts the schedule. If a data pipeline fails, governance communicates the delay so business users aren't making decisions on old numbers.
They manage the timeline.
Exactly.
Okay, the third pillar is expectations. This one feels a bit softer, but the source emphasizes it.
It's actually the most important one for the guests, the business users.
How so?
When you get an invitation to a high-end wedding and you know there is a planner involved, you relax.
Yeah, you know you're going to get fed. You know there's a seat for you.
You trust the event. In business, expectations is trust in data. If you have a strong governance framework, when a manager opens a report, they know it has been vetted.
They know the food is safe to eat.
Exactly. They don't have to double-check the math. They don't have to call Uncle Bob to see if he has a different spreadsheet.
And that saves so much time. I mean, think about the time wasted in meetings just arguing about whose numbers are right.
It's massive. It eliminates that verification tax that companies pay every single day. You move from questioning the data to actually using the data.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
This all sounds great. We all want a wedding planner. But they're expensive. They add a layer of bureaucracy. I can hear the startup founders listening to this saying, We don't need a planner. We're agile. We'll just figure it out.
That is a fair push.
Do you always need one?
Look, if you're a three-person startup in a garage, you don't need a data governance council. You just talk to each other.
Right.
But here's the thing. Companies grow, you eventually invite more guests, and at some point, usually around the time you have multiple departments and disparate systems, the backyard BBQ approach stops working.
The we'll just figure it out approach results in food poisoning.
It results in regulatory fines, it results in customer churn, it results in Uncle Bob running the company's strategy off his laptop. So, no, you don't need a massive bureaucracy on day one, but you need the principles of the planner. Someone has to own the run of show.
So let's pivot to the so what of this deep dive. The mission is to give our listener a way to sell this. Because usually when a data steward walks into a room and says, I'm here to govern you, people hear,
I'm here to stop you. They hear police. They hear DMV. They hear audit.
how does the wedding planner change that whole conversation?
It reframes the narrative. It goes from restriction to celebration. And that is the key takeaway from the source. Coordination turns chaos into celebration.
So how do you use that in a meeting? Monday morning, you're talking to a stakeholder who just hates process.
You ask them a simple question. Do you want this product launch to feel like a riot or a celebration? You explain that you aren't there to stop them from accessing data. You're there to make sure that when they do access it, it's ready. You're the planner, and you're ensuring their party is a success.
It appeals to their self-interest.
Completely. Nobody wants to host a bad party. If you tell the VP of marketing, I'm here to make sure your campaign data is accurate so you look like a genius to the board, they will welcome you.
Instead of saying, I'm here to enforce data quality rule 402B.
Right. Then they'll kick you out. You're selling the outcome, the celebration, not the mechanism.
That is such a crucial psychological shift. You're on their team. You're the one with the headset making them look good.
And you're the one handling Uncle Bob so they don't have to.
Yeah.
You're the one saying, actually, Bob, we have a verified report right here. Why don't we use that? You take the heat off the business leaders.
I love that. Okay, so practical application. The Source Toolkit gives some specific advice on where to drop this analogy. It's not just for high-level strategy meetings.
No, it's great for training. Think about onboarding a new employee. You don't start by showing them the data dictionary.
Oh, please no.
You tell them the story of the wedding planner. It gives them a mental model. Oh, I'm the caterer. I need to make sure the ingredients are fresh. It sensitizes them to their role without scaring them with technical jargon.
It creates a shared language. You can walk down the hall and say, hey, we're having an Uncle Bob moment, and everyone knows what that means.
It de-escalates conflict, too. It's not, you messed up. It's, hey, we have a timing issue with the ceremony. It depersonalizes the problem.
The source material also points to some resources for people who want to dive deeper into this way of thinking. This is just one analogy, right? There's a whole toolkit.
There is. The source highlights a website, dgspecialist.com/podcast. It seems to be a hub for this kind of, human-centric data governance material.
And for the visual learners among us.
There's a YouTube channel at DG Specialist. If you're trying to convince your team, sometimes playing a video or sending a link is more effective than trying to explain it yourself.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, let the specialist be the expert, and you just facilitate the conversation.
Hey, I found this video that explains our problem perfectly.
Absolutely. It validates that the chaos isn't just your company. It's a universal problem with a known solution.
So we've gone from the sweaty, awkward silence of a wedding disaster to a coordinated, orchestrated celebration. We've turned the data governance police into the data wedding planner.
We've moved from policing to planning.
And the core lesson is that governance isn't about saying no. It's about orchestrating timing, roles, and expectations so that the business can actually function.
And so the guests, the data users, can enjoy the party.
I want to leave the listener with a final thought to mull over. We talked about identifying Uncle Bob, but I want to zoom out a bit. If your organization's data strategy was a wedding happening right now this afternoon, would the guests be celebrating? Would they be dancing? Or would they be sitting in awkward silence, checking their watches, while someone reads from a spreadsheet nobody asked for?
Oh, that is the question. And if the answer is silence, you might need to hire a planner.
And maybe take the microphone away from Uncle Bob. Thanks for diving in with us. Take this W analogy, use it in your next battle for budget or buy-in, and turn that chaos into a celebration. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.